First Alert meteorologist Steve Sasa in the First Alert Weather Center. Good morning, Steve. Bitterly cold out there still.
Yeah, bitterly cold and also very, very slippery, icy in a lot of spots. And a lot of conditions are changeable from road surface to sidewalks to different neighborhoods. So just please, if you can, stay home and give the road crews another day. They'll be able to make more progress. They did a great job overnight, but we're still not there to the mark of where it's really safe to be driving across the area. So here's your timeline for today, trying to break down some of the spots that are better than others. So right now it's not great outside. We have temperatures in the teens, a lot of black ice out there, a lot of untreated surfaces on those side secondary streets, not to mention it's cold. The brief window, I know it's brief, but take advantage of it. Noon to 5, we get a little bit of sunshine, mid to upper 20s. That with the sun, with the road chemicals, it'll soften things up. Try to get your car unburied if it's on one of those streets that the plows buried it in, because otherwise you may not have your car until early next week. Brutal cold returns with windy conditions this evening and tonight. Rochelle will have that in just a second. 19 is your current temperature in Baltimore, 19 in Hagerstown. Good news is road chemicals start to work 20 and above, and we're close to that. Won't take much to get us above 20. Wind chills, they're biting cold, but they're going to get a lot worse later today. So this is, you got to dress for it, but it's not as bad as later on today. Wind chills across the state are cold. Taking a look at First Alert radar, snow showers to the west. This will be the big story, and that is First Alert meteorologist Rochelle J. with this next leg of this never-ending storm to come.
It's the winter that doesn't end, and it's really been mostly the month of January, but now that snow, ice, sleet mixture has moved out and we've got it out there on the ground, now we get to deal with the wind and the cold air that has settled into Maryland. So for today, we've got wind gusts that could get as high as 35 miles an hour. And that wind direction is important, coming out of the northwest. So it's pulling in air from the Great Lakes, some areas of Canada, to right here in Maryland. And we're going to have Canada right here at home as we go a little later into this week as far as some of those temperatures go. Steve mentioned we've got that cold weather advisory, was called a wind chill advisory, for tonight into tomorrow morning, into about midday tomorrow. So that's just about how long it's going to take to quote unquote warm up during the day on Tuesday. But for today, feels like temperatures at best in the mid-teens out there. For today, we'll have a breezy wind gusting even higher. As Steve mentioned, this was one of the biggest systems that we have seen in a very long time. In fact, just over 10 years ago, we had 2 feet of snow on January 23rd, 2016. Right now, though, we want to get a check on the roadways with Angela Foster and First Alert Traffic.
Okay, there is a live drive here in Carroll County, and as you can see, that road looks like it's in good shape, but I'm going to tell you what you can't see is there's this glaze, and a lot of that glaze is ice, and it will catch you off guard because other streets look like such a mess. When you get to this, you think you're in good shape. Be careful on that. There's that light glaze of ice. So you see the speed that we're going. That's the speed that you should be going here on the roadways. So this is a look at what we're tracking in the weather department here. Cold weather today, but today will be the day to take advantage of a little bit of a break here from midday through afternoon, where we will see temperatures in the mid to upper 20s. That's just warm enough with the sunshine and the road solutions to soften up that snow, because the next round of cold that we're getting here is so extreme that it will turn everything into a brick. And so we've been trying to emphasize, get your car cleared out. There's been a lot of places plowed in. Try to get that cleared out. Big stretch of brutal cold. And when I say big stretch, this goes from tonight all the way through early next week, where low temperatures could be in the 0 to 5 degree range. All right, our forecasts that worked out, and there's a lot of places that have a lot of snow and ice on the ground. That's why we have so much slippery, slick, and treacherous travel. That's why we're advising you, give it another day here. Let the road crews catch up. They did a great job yesterday getting the main roads done. Now we got to chip away at some of the side roads. There's a lot of roads out there, so it takes that time. And less cars equals better conditions for them. Wind chill values dropping 5 to 18 degrees below zero. This is what I'm talking about with the long haul. This is This isn't even a marathon. This is an Ironman with all this 5 to 15 degree below wind chills each and every morning. It wears you down. So you got to take those steps. You got to take breaks, especially if you work outside. This is what you got to remember. People, pets, and pipes in this weather. Also your car battery. Have that checked out here. Winter weather survival kit in your car. If it breaks down, you don't want to be in this kind of cold. Layers, and more layers with a heavy coat, gloves, and mittens. And your pets need the little booties here on their feet or their paws because the salt and the snow take a toll on them, not to mention having a jacket. Speaking of snow, we had a lot of snow across the area. We'll have more on these totals throughout the course of the morning. It's going to get cold around here, Rochelle J. Even colder than it has been. Hard to believe.
I was going to say, it is frigid out here. And as usual, Studio A is also cold as well. But tonight we're talking single-digit temperatures. I was going to say wind chills, but those wind chills will be dropping down to the single and even double digits below zero. We're going to still have a little bit of some wind, and those winds will pick up during the day tomorrow again, just slightly. But we've got mostly sunny skies. Temperatures, however, won't get above the low to maybe mid-20s for the day tomorrow. And wind gusts picking up just a little bit. We could see them as high as about 25 or so miles an hour for tomorrow. So while the winds may not be as strong, we're going to have temperatures that are on the lower side. And look at these feels like temperatures, sub-zero to start off the day. And we're talking inside the Beltway. We're talking areas like Baltimore City and then those suburb areas where it's typically on the colder side away from the city. These numbers will be even lower than that. So we've got wind chills getting up to about 10 degrees for tomorrow. So here's a look at that 7-day forecast, everybody. Today is going to be the warmest day of at least the next 7 days. Then we're dropping down into the lower 20s for high temperatures, but those overnight lows as we go toward the end of the week will be dropping down into the single digits, colder away from the city. Highs may not even reach 20 degrees for Thursday and on Friday. Because of some of that cold, we do have possible alert days in place. We may see a few more flakes on Thursday. Looking ahead to the weekend, temperatures try to quote unquote warm back up. Highs in the 20s, overnight lows into the teens, and we may have to watch out for maybe a few more flakes for this weekend. We'll get to that in the coming days. We've got to get through this cold, and we've got to get dug out of the snow, ice, and sleet here in the next day or two, and we'll keep an eye on systems a little later on from the First Alert Weather Center.